haven't seen this black red aggro. Oh, this must be like an anvil list or something. Playing against mono red. Wow. So the standard seat is going to be zoom in here.
Oh, and they did last game too. Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. They definitely got taken care of there.
I mean,
Pretty quick.
speaking of zooming, look at these guys. They're already going. And let's get that timer going.
Yeah. Actually.
Oh yeah, you're good. Yeah, do your thing. Do your judge thing, man.
Yeah.
So Elliot's gonna go take care of some biz real quick. Ooh, Monastery Swift Spear. I remember what that card does. I played for like 20 seconds in a Dragon Standard a very long time ago, and then I played for another 20 seconds in Kaladesh Standard. There is so much damage going out right now.
Looks like we're starting off nice and quick here. With,
Is Ryan Pricing out? Do you know?
Yeah, it looked like he was grabbing power. So, was that a go for the throat was on the 2-1 haster. Okay, so then we have the backup threats and mono red just getting on in there, doing mono red things. What do we have going on in modern? Looks like they're still getting shuffled up here. Looks like Scam versus 5-color. That's going to be a good matchup. Or the Zodiac.
Oh yeah, Domain. Yeah, he's been crushing all day. It looks like. I mean, clearly they made it to finals.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely think that's either the best deck in the format or very close to it. What do we got there? That's the. Is that the flippy guy that gives haste? +1 in haste, maybe?
Oh shit. I'll delete all of them. Oh.
What was this? Some 3-dropper, another. Vran X? No, maybe not. Oh, Blood Tithe Harvester.
That's not okay.
Well, it looks like it got. Oh no, it's being cast.
Osier.
Osier?
Oh my god, there's so many of them. I don't remember which one the red one is. I think it's
okay.
Osier Axali. Yep, Deep Smite. Or Axe. No, yeah, it's this card.
Oh, okay. Cool. Very cool.
Yay, 2 commentators. Let's freaking go. Oh my god.
Excellent. Yippee!
Well, I'm gonna mute for like 10 seconds fast when I move the mic. Come on. There we go. There you guys go. Oh, I just bodied you guys. Okay.
Fantastic.
There we go.
Love that.
Yep.
All right, mono red versus red black.
Yes.
This is not going to take long.
I wonder if this is because this isn't even the Vampires deck. They're playing Oni Cult Anvil.
They're playing my deck?
They're playing some kind of Anvil variant. I am embarrassingly unfamiliar with Standard.
Yeah,
Right.
well, so I've played in just a couple standards, but before Markov came out,
Mhm.
I really wanted to play Osier, Axe, and Anvil.
Sick. Okay.
And yeah, so this is so cool. I'm sure their list is way better than mine and also up to date because I literally was just like, I know these 2 cards, I like these 2 cards, I'm going to make a deck around these 2 cards.
Excellent.
So I played Epic Career, the Blood Tithe Harvester, so that tiny vampire package that doesn't really care about the archetype, but it gets you artifacts for your anvil. And then once you have anvil in play, Osier is making your anvil deal 4 damage each time, which is insane.
Sounds really good.
You're still only gaining 1 life, but who cares? And boom, he has it. turn 4 Osier, turn 5 anvil. Let's start dealing a lot of damage. I loved this deck. It performed very well for me. I have no idea what changed with Markov. I'm or Karlov. I say Markov so many times.
They're the same. It's
because Soren Markov.
Yep. This doesn't look like there's anything new in here.
No.
No, I mean, I don't know what Taurus's journal is.
I don't either.
Yeah, but I don't know. These all look like familiar Standard cards to me.
Yeah. So for the most part, I'm actually weirdly familiar with this deck.
Very nice. Why don't we go ahead and
Any
check in
plan
on
for that card?
Legacy? I think I see some big stuff going on here. It looks like we have it looks like big old Saga token against blue-white control. That's typically going to be a good way for the lands deck to beat up on blue-white.
Soul's Guide Lantern, Pithing Needle naming.
Pithing Needle probably naming either Narset or 3-mana Teferi.
Okay.
Those are pretty common to play in this like 4th year Lingus control deck. I don't know if you've seen this deck yet, but it's
I've heard about it.
oh yeah, it's a pretty oppressive, very powerful control deck. You're doing all the free counterspell things. You've got 3 fairy, which of course stops people from. It's a silence. It's basically a silence.
Right.
And then Narset.
Grand Abolisher effects.
Yeah, Grand Abolisher, right? Well, even at instant speed on their turn, it
Right.
turns off.
Right,
So
right.
because of that, you can often go the 3-mana Narset that stops you from drawing extra cards
And then
into Days Undoing.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is actually how this guy closed out his last match
okay.
in the mirror. Was able to 4th year Lingus, put a couple of guys in play, attack, grab the initiative, start to get ahead on
It
card
makes
advantage.
2/2s
It makes 2/2s with haste and trample.
and trample.
And
Okay.
then until end of turn, when you connect, you become the monarch.
Sure.
It's insane. It's like the only fireball where more mana, like you get
More power the mana put into it. Or
yeah, so you get 2 damage per 1 mana.
Right.
It's really insane. The card is nuts. And then you draw cards. So like it's just as good on turn 3 as it is on turn 30. You know,
Oh, you
it's,
draw cards because Monarch.
Yeah.
I was like, and you draw cards.
And you draw cards, yeah, it's really insane. And it looks like the matches stand pretty close here. Seems like something with a couple of counters on it. Maybe like a glacial chasm or something.
The
Oh, that was a saga. Okay, gotcha.
Thespian Saga?
Must be a Thespian stage on Saga. Yeah. And then another Thespian stage copying the other Thespian stage that was a Saga. So it looks like we're just going to be running over with constructs here. What do we got going on in Modern right now? Let's see how that's going.
Modern
Yep, Black Red doing Black Red things versus
Scam
Nishoba Brawler.
versus...
Yep, Scam versus this is the 5-color domain deck, the Domain Zoo deck.
Oh, okay. The
That's actually the
Scion
deck that I'm playing right now.
Everdragon
Yeah.
deck. Okay.
This deck, the Domain Zoo deck, very, very, very powerful. It's my pick for the best deck going into Atlanta in a couple of weeks.
Interesting.
I
I love, but coming from like Orlando and old head Magic,
yeah,
they love their zoo,
yeah, right.
and it warms my heart that zoo is a prime contender again. Like,
Yeah, well, and so Colin, one of our locals, was here last night.
yeah,
He's been playing Zoo since like 2019.
sure.
Right, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's suddenly the villain.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to him about it recently. He's like, "Look, man, I just like casting Tribal Flames."
Yeah. I have a funny story about Tribal Flames. Actually.
Oh yeah.
Going back to old head Magic when Extended was still a format,
Mhm.
and it wasn't modern yet. We had a guy, Brian Wade.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah,
He borrowed a Domain Zoo deck.
right.
And this is I think the latest set out at the time was like Complex or something.
Okay.
So pretty far back. So he
Conflux, goodness.
yeah, the deck that he was borrowing was nearly all foreign foil. Like it that was just the guy who had all the cards, everything at max rarity, and Brian Wade borrowed the deck.
Yep.
Playing his top 8 Winnanen.
Mhm.
He goes, okay, end of turn Tribal Flames you.
That's not how that card
Yeah.
works.
And we're like, what? Like, we're all watching this. And
Yep.
we're like, what do you mean? He's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? He was fully convinced, and the entire tournament casting Tribal Flames at instant speed
Good.
just out of ignorance. Like, there was no, like, malicious
no
intent
malice
there.
or anything. Just
It was just...
right. This card sees play. Obviously, it's an instant.
I borrowed this deck. It's in Japanese or simplified Chinese, whatever it was at the time. He was like, I thought it was an instant. Like,
Hey, that's fair. That's fair. Goodness. Yeah, that deck is really powerful. It doesn't look like we're going to be seeing any of the Scion plus Draco package here.
the Leyline Draco.
Yeah, that's the Leyline Draco. Yeah, that's the one. And I'm curious about this mana base because this is something I've been I've been tinkering with this a lot. It seems like they're on the Hedge Maze plus Savaitrium
Hedge Mage is the Surveil land.
Hedge Maze is the Surveil land, and between those two, you've got Domain, so you can often get Domain on turn 2 if you're willing to have 2 tap lands.
Sure. Sure.
My build right now, I'm on a different combination,
Boom.
but
Scam
looks like Scam
lands.
is good enough. Scam doing Scam things.
Yep.
How about let's
Just
pan back over
aggro.
to something else. See what
Okay.
see a
Let's do
match in
I-
progress.
Oh well.
Which one do you guys want? Sorry.
Yeah,
that's
let's do
That's good.
standard.
That's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
looks like we got a big old board with a. It's not a Shieldred. What on earth is
That's
that?
the Blood Tithe Harvester, and the black card is whenever a creature dies once per turn, drain 2, I think.
Okay.
Or is it lose 2, draw a card? Gosh, I know it's a once per turn trigger, Grizzly Bear
Very
when
nice.
something dies.
I'm so curious what this the thing next to the sword chick is.
That is Squee.
Oh, that's a squee.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that card is so sick.
So the card that I would love to see is Ran, Vran.
Oh, squee dubious monarch.
Oh, or that. That one
Yeah,
makes
that's
dudes.
definitely the
They
one.
made this man into a
They did make this man into a monarch.
Isn't Squee no longer like eternal?
I have no
He
idea.
lost
Yeah,
his-
he must have. Right, sure. Well, but I mean, he's still coming back. You can cast him from the yard. You just gotta get rid of some other stuff. I was playing some vintage recently. Yeah, proxy vintage.
Mm.
There's a not a survival deck. What is it? It's a Bazaar of Baghdad.
Okay.
You're going crazy, discarding stuff and hollow one and all that good stuff. Anyway, they get
Yeah.
to play 4 squeeze and then 4 other cards that's squee, but like you pay life.
Okay.
And you're just ditching them to Bazaar every turn to like draw extra cards.
Right.
It's really sick.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Can we see Vran, Vraan, Executioner?
AAN.
Oh, hey.
Double AN, yeah. Yeah, so that's the
Oh,
ultimate.
that's the 2-drop. Okay.
Whenever one more creatures you control die.
Lose 2 life, gain 2 life, triggers.
Hey!
That's really solid.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah, that seems
Yay.
really good in the Anvil deck for sure.
Yeah.
Just extra copies of that effect.
Does not trigger Oger, but
Oh, because it's not damage, it's life loss. Yeah, that makes sense.
still probably just good enough though.
Right.
Okay, going wide, Mishra Factory, Little Baby Chick, couple tokens.
And I think those might have been Sokenzen tokens. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I don't see the land in the yard, but
It
that
could be- it
definitely
could be
makes
that card
spirits
there,
Yeah.
yeah. Little shiny one. Lining up some looks like super reasonable blocks here.
Blood
Just
Tithe
trying to
Harvester.
stem the bleeding some.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not quite seeing life totals the way the players laid them out here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they really need to stem the bleeding.
Oh. Let's see.
It's 7 to 5.
7 to 5.
So
Slim
5
margins, huh?
being the
5.
red deck.
5 being the mono
Okay,
deck.
so
yeah.
mono red's at 5 life. Black red anvil's at 7 before this attack.
That's what it's looking like.
And we're doing some math. Anvil activated.
Now,
I feel like we're watching Red Zone.
All right. Kumano.
Yeah, that one. So if it just ticked up to 3, then it's about to flip.
I think it was 2.
If it just ticked up to 2, then I'm pretty sure it's like
next
the next creature gets a
you
1/1
play
counter,
gets- yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I've definitely done my fair share of like Kumano into Sword Chick online.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, here's my 1 mana 2/2 flying. It's like good enough.
What that card is. And
That
neither
is,
does
that
his
is a
opponent.
kill spell of some kind. I'm gonna assume that's like an obliterating bolt or like exile removal or something. I bet you it's Annihilation Glare. That sounds like a kill spell.
That does sound like a kill spell. Annihilation Glare. Does that card just not exist? Annihilating. Ooh,
nope.
Not so much.
we're gonna get him. He has 2 register cards that aren't
Unfortunate.
magic. Okay.
Seeing some attacks being sent
Squee
out
on both
from-
sides?
Squee on both sides. Oh yeah, sacking the Squee tokens to Anvil sacks creatures too, right?
No.
No, just artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
Neat. I guess it's pretty cool.
Did he?
What's up?
Is there a threaten or a?
Oh, maybe. So it's
No, it's
showing-
not in a red sleeve though. Why? I don't see Squee in
Did
his
something get
list.
lined up on the square.
Oh yeah, sure enough, it was from his yard.
Yeah.
So really curious what that red card does now.
Oh, okay, wait. So then
Lithomantic Barrage.
no,
Man?
that's a
Is this
kill
game
spell.
2?
This is game 1.
It's game 1. Okay,
It should be
so it has to be.
still be game 1. I'm not sure.
Gosh, we're really good at standard.
Yeah. Something the Tarian's Journal, maybe? I'm not really sure. Probably not.
That'd be weird, but
It sounds like an artifact.
Oh.
Looks like a concession from the
Yep.
mono red player. Maybe. Hopefully.
yeah, for sure.
I don't know with that board. Looks
Especially
like
after
a
the Squee attack.
Yep, going back to modern, we have a turn 1 Thoughtseize after a turn 0 Leyline into Tapland. So it looks like our
Pretty good for domain start.
yep, our domain player is definitely looking to get in there pretty early with the max domain. I see a Lavinia as well, which is a pretty common sideboard inclusion. That card will stop the that's Lavinia Azorius Renegade.
Yeah.
And that card is going to stop the scam player from doing scam things if it lands.
Because of the evoke, right? And no mana is paid for. Is
Yeah,
that correct?
Lavinia.
Oh,
Yep.
That's
there we go.
Yeah. She is a creature.
This Rakdos
Oh,
deck
non-creature
is
spells,
giving
huh?
me life. Yeah, the standard deck is a lot of fun.
Okay, well then I have to wonder why Lavinia came in because it looks like it only takes non-creature spells.
Huh.
I mean, that's a card that typically comes in opposing Leyline Binding matchups.
Sure.
So I assumed since it was coming in, it was also beating up the scam effects, but I guess not. Very heads up from the scam player to be bringing in edict effects against the domain Leyline deck, and we'll see how this one pans out.
Lavinia land pass. So I
The second text. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. Yeah, of course.
okay. So
Right,
so
it is still just
the
gonna hit the
sentiment was correct in the first.
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Okay.
we just need to keep reading the card.
Right,
Reading
yeah.
the card explains the card.
It
It's
turns
crazy.
out, look, I may be a judge, but I'm not very good at magic. Okay, so I mean, the Lavinia should lock down any scam shenanigans.
Yeah. Dothy Voidwalker pass.
Yep.
He does not seem happy about that pass. He's just like,
Nah,
go.
just get him out.
Go. Dothy Voidwalker, go.
So notably, I see that the domain zoo player is not playing Giganta.
okay, right.
Right, which
the
is pretty common in
companion.
these decks, yeah. And so, I mean, I would expect, in a normal situation here, that they would have picked up a Giganta on this turn.
Right.
But it doesn't
Yeah,
seem
Lightning
like that's
Bolt,
the case.
Gigantha.
Yeah,
I have a 5/5 in hand,
right, exactly.
as opposed to just having 2 fetch lands.
Yeah, yeah.
So why?
I
why
actually
does he
talked to this
choose to
player
go with this?
earlier, and they said it was because they didn't want it to be so face up that they were on domain, because that'll change the types of hands that their opponents are keeping. But they actually do have a legal Giganta deck.
So, Judge,
Go ahead.
Bone Crusher Giant.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
It does not.
Well, Bone Crusher Giant, 1 in a red / 2 in a red.
Yeah. Does
So
that?
that actually will stop Giganta.
Okay.
Interesting choice. It does respect the ring some.
Mhm.
So you can they play a ring into your board full of threats,
Yeah, and you're
hoping
like,
you're gonna buy a
nope,
turn.
I still want to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, so I guess that one of Bone Crusher Giant could just be a one of Gigantha.
Yeah, right, and it could have meant an
Phyllis
extra
is
card.
fine.
But we don't know how many rings this player saw today, so it's possible that it paid off for them.
Sure.
It looks like Legacy going on to game 2 here. I'm curious who took it down there.
Yeah.
Typically speaking, lands is favored into the Legacy, into the control matchup, just because a lot of the stuff that they do doesn't operate on an axis that Force of Will is very good against.
I am very much not well rehearsed in Legacy.
That's fair.
It is a format that I want to play. It is a format that I have proxy decks built for.
Mhm.
But as far as like knowledge of matchups or anything like that, I'm not your guy.
That's fair. It's really interesting. I mean, so the from the land side of the matchup, you're hoping to have some kind of start with exploration, so you can deploy your lands pretty
Sure.
quickly, and then maybe you'll get there with a couple of Urza Saga tokens. Maybe you'll get there with a giant Merit Lage that
Oof.
you can protect.
Real quick, the Fable of the Mirror Breaker probably just did wonders for the Scam player because he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Discard these two
Yeah,
thought
just get
seizes.
rid of
Like,
the two Thoughtseize. I don't even want him here.
yeah. But sorry.
No,
continue.
yeah, you're fine. So typically it'll be something like, make my Saga tokens, make my Merit Lage, protect it with Legolas's quick reflexes,
Mhm.
and just hope that that's good enough.
That's actually a card I heard on people's tongues a lot today.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
Reflexes.
It's an recent addition from Lord of the Rings. It's been playing really well.
Yeah, it's just like it's a better hexproof spell, right? Like
Yeah, exactly.
does-
It has split second or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So, Scam player pitching the two Thoughtseizes, drawing two cards, played a dashed Ragavan, and then it immediately got Prismatic Ending.
Leyline Binding.
Or
yeah,
Leyline
yeah.
Binding, sorry.
Removed. Get rid of it. Who needs it?
But we're flipping Fable, playing a Dothy Voidwalker, and once again, not looking happy with that pass the turn, despite being up in cards.
Yeah, well, I mean, the life totals. It looks like it's. I don't think the Scam player has lost any life yet.
That-
They haven't cast any Thought Seizes. Looks like it's just
Lavinia's
basics and-
sideways, it has to be some.
Oh yeah, maybe it's just not quite caught up.
Uh,
What do we got going on in Standard over there? Seems like we're
Standard Red's looking
we're
really
getting on in there. That's what we're doing.
really healthy this second game.
I do believe Adventures work with Gigantha. So that's super possible. I would have to check. My inclination is that it's. I would have to check.
You know what I don't like
What's that?
is that I used to know the rules in
Huh.
old Magic, but I now don't. I can't tell you the difference between converted mana cost, mana value.
Oh, they're the same.
Mana, are they the same
They're
thing?
straight up the same.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. So converted mana. So here's what actually happened. Magic cards have started to get really complicated.
Right.
Okay. So and Wizards has this rule where they're never going to make the font smaller on a card because they don't want to turn into Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right.
Right.
You don't want to have a book on
So-
your. Yeah.
Converted mana cost is a lot longer than mana value.
Interesting. So it's strictly just a shortening of letters.
If you'll notice, you'll also see new cards coming out that say enters instead of enters the battlefield.
Yes, I
Right?
did notice
For
that.
the same reason. Because these cards are just getting so complicated that they need to find the space.
That's
It's goofy.
yeah, that's very interesting. Okay. So I
Looks
would
like
I would
everything's
imagine that stuff like. Well, so adventure would fall into the same category as like a boom bust, right?
It's kind of sort of because when you look at the mana cost of Boom Bust, it would be like, I don't know, whatever it is, one in a
One
red,
red
slash,
slash.
5 in a red.
Right.
So I would have to double check on that, but it's very possible that you can still play them. That is okay. So this is the lands versus Jeskai control deck. We do see that Narset
Narset,
having
yeah.
come down. Looks like some kind of card was found with it, and we're in a position where there's a whole bunch of Thespian stages.
Thespian Stage copy my dual land. That's not great.
Not
right?
quite where you want to be. Yeah. Well, so it still has the Thespian stage ability, but now it taps for another color.
Right.
So
I guess it isn't hurting you, but it's just
exactly.
Like,
Yep. So we'll see where this goes from here. One of the scare cards in this matchup from the land side
Hmm.
is crop rotation. So
Okay.
often crop rotation has you sacking a land as part of the cost. This is about to get really scary. Sorry. So crop rotation has you sacking the land as part of the cost.
Right.
So if that gets countered,
you're just down
a
a land.
Often
Right.
that card will come out in this matchup, but it's a really powerful effect being able to search your deck for any land.
Yeah, you get dark types.
Right. Yeah, you get Dark Types, or you get Saga, and you start turning all of your Thespian stages into Sagas,
And then you
and
just
then the game is just
construct,
over
yeah.
because you start making a bunch of constructs.
Right.
Now, super neat thing that can happen here, and we'll see if the
Back
if the
to
lands
basics.
player. Back to basics. That's back to bad for business.
And I believe that's what closed out game one as well.
That would make sense. Back to basics traditionally very good against the lands deck.
The non-basic deck.
Yep. Well, we'll see if there's a Force of Vigor or something coming down.
Standard looks
And-
like it's going to game 3, by the way, so that means that Mono Red did take that. Not surprising with the board state that we did
Yeah,
see.
no kidding. They were crunching.
Speaking of crunching, I don't know, one of these buttons does. Oh, I did it right.
There you go. Nice, nice.
Um,
We got Scam getting on into the red zone here. It's a good day for the black-red players.
Sure, yeah. But the Scam player that was very upset about keeping just pass turn, looking all right now.
Yeah,
Got
not
a
looking so
Ragavan.
bad. This Lavinia definitely showing its frailty. I mean, you're not really trying to play a 2-2 for 2.
It
in
is
this
showing
deck.
its bear side of things. Like
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
Whoa, not Lavinia's not showing her bear side.
Well, we could
the
definitely
grizzly
say that
bear.
Lavinia is
Grizzly
like
bear.
barely playable.
Okay.
I'm really surprised at the lack of threats from the Domain Zoo player here. You know, usually you'll see that deck playing 5/5s on turn 2, but it seems like it's been a bit of a slow start.
It looked like an aggressive mulligan, and then there was at least one Thoughtseize.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, and then a Magus of the Moon coming down. That's a huge problem.
Magus.
Right, so people
Not
are playing...
Magus.
Magus? I don't know.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I would just I've heard Magus, but
I believe you.
the Man on the Moon.
The Man on the Moon, yeah. The Man on the Moon looks really good when everyone is playing Pick Your Poison, because it turns out playing an enchantment into the...
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Makes sense.
Right. Now, that being said, the... To be clear about why a giant works, the card is Bone Crusher Giant only. Very possible. Very possible. Something to note here about the what's
Oof.
it? The what's it side of the table? The Domain Zoo side of the table.
Yeah.
He can still cast all of his removal right now. I mean, it's a pile of lightning bolts and tribal flames, so you know, as
Right.
impactful as Magus of the Moon is,
We'll go with Magus.
it definitely doesn't turn off those removal spells.
Right.
And then at that point, you really only need 4 mana to cast your Leyline Binding, sometimes 3, depending on the basics that have been fetched. So, you know, it's...
Oof. Yeah, this is really showing
That's not the one.
like
That's-
the downfall of Domain Zoo is when you're top decking lands and your 1 mana 3/3s on
Yeah.
turn 7.
Yeah, right. Well, and these are the times that you would really wish to have a Jantha.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Let me just play my big idiot 5/5 so I can kind of stabilize the board. Doesn't really help too much against the Dothy Voidwalker, but, you know,
it stems the bleeding.
it does stem the bleeding. Let's see if we can take a look at what Legacy has got going on here. Looks like we've got a
Haywire might.
Haywire Might, which is going to
Okay,
answer
so what does
the...
Back to Basics do?
So Back to Basics, great question, is a card that's going to stop you from untapping with non-basic lands.
Just
So
cannot untap.
just cannot untap,
Yeah.
right? So it looks like we had Urza Saga getting Surgical Extraction. So unless any of these Thespian
Surgical
stages...
Extraction is not non-land. It's
Cer-
non-basic.
No, that's right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So the Urza Saga problem is one that the control deck does need to solve. Now, that being
looks like it
said,
did.
yeah, it super did. So, if any of these Thespian stages have become copies of the Urza Sagas, we've got a much more interesting game, because you can get it to level 2 of the saga,
Uh-huh.
and then turn it into something else, but it retains the pay 2 tap, make a dude.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
magic.
Layers.
Yeah, I mean, actually, so it
Yeah.
gains the ability,
Uh-huh.
but then it becomes a copy of something else, but it still gained this ability.
Oh, because so the physical card gained that ability.
Exactly.
And
So you
now
can then
it
turn it
is-
into a basic forest and make it wasteland proof, right? But it still has pay 2 tap, make a.
That
make a
is so interesting.
It's very interesting. It's
Well, now that makes way more sense that
Right.
you can just okay, and that would get around Back to Basics.
it sure would. It sure
Magic.
would. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like we have a prismatic ending on the Haywire Might. So I suspect that we're going to be seeing removal, or the Haywire Might being sacrificed. I guess not.
I don't think he had color mana for it.
Oh, I thought he turned one of those into a Savannah before. Oh, maybe he turned it into a basic afterwards. Okay, well, it does look like
yeah,
the
it's
back
it's
space
it's
is gone.
hard to tell the game state when we're watching 3 different matches, and then there's a card on table that turns into something else every turn.
Yeah, no
basically.
kidding.
Like,
And it looks like Modern wrapped up taking or with the Scam player taking it down. So congratulations to Team Misfit Toys for that crushing victory. And we'll see how these other two go. We have standard in game 3. It looked like.
yes, Senator is in game 3.
Ooh, yo, Modern, fun fact chat. Modern seat for Team Q, that's a guy that said play.
It was actually the legacy
Oh, the
player
legacy
on
seat
Team
play?
Q. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see how this one goes for him.
So the guy playing lands.
The guy playing lands for Team Q
wanted to play
decided
into
to play.
blue-white
Yes.
back to basics.
Okay. Like I said, so the Urza Saga plan is really, really good.
Yeah.
So the idea is supposed to be Urza Saga, Thespian stage my Urza Saga, just make a token every turn. You're not going to be able to deal with this forever.
Yeah. There's a forest.
There's a forest. There's a
very written on forest.
Yeah, well loved forest. So
It's
we,
got a
we
tree
successfully
drawn on
got
it.
colored mana. Oh, and then a choke. Oh my god, no one's untapping with anything.
Oof. No,
what
he
a-
said get lost.
He said, "Get lost. Here's your map."
You can have your maps. 2 maps, right?
Two maps.
Standard cards in Legacy. Crazy.
Yep. Now, all these wastelands are definitely doing their job here, keeping the
Yeah.
control player pretty low on mana. At this point, we might end up seeing some kind of play for Icy and Expedition map that could end up being like map into depths, and man, that's a whole lot of Thespian stages to be able to go with depths for.
You like 2020's chat?
Yeah.
What if
Oh,
they
man.
fly?
You can definitely get to the position where you're like, okay, make a 2020. All right, I'm gonna Life from the Loam, get him back. Okay,
Yeah.
make a 2020. So we'll
How many exile spells do you have?
yeah, seriously. Ancient Tomb?
Yeah, Ancient Tomb, Explore, Endurance, and that map, I believe, is
Okay.
his hand.
Yep, looks like map is hitting the board.
I'm still reeling about the Thespian Sage thing. Like,
It's so sick, right? It's so sick. It's a compelling reason to play that deck.
yeah.
I really like making Urza Saga tokens. Is that a Hall of Heliod's Generosity?
So that's what it looks like to me, but I cannot confirm or
what
deny.
on earth are we doing here?
What does it get back? Chokes? You're just
Gets back Urza Sagas, if that is what it is.
It's an
Yeah.
enchantment. I'm learning things, chat.
Echoing Deeps, maybe? Looks like it could be an Echoing Deeps.
I don't know what that card is either. Echoing Deep? Deeps? Is it
Might be.
actually Deeps?
It is Deeps.
Why isn't it Depths?
Great question.
Okay, it's not that.
Do we have any alternate arts on that?
Can I see that on Mox?
Oh, I have no idea.
Mox.
Only if you're
What
creating
if
the
you have
list.
that drop down?
Yeah, next to that.
Next to
Nope.
Echoing Deeps?
Oh, switch
Switch
printing,
printing.
and it is not that card.
Doesn't look like it. Okay, what else we got? It's not Lush Portico. It's not Maze of Ith. Scattered Groves? I don't think so. I don't know.
I mean,
the world.
I
may
guess
never know.
there's also it's a proxy friendly format.
Oh, it could
it
be.
could be
It could
proxy.
be a vote. Yeah. Oh, a Field of the Dead. That's going to be huge. So we have
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lands with 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe
Yeah. How?
4, 5, 6, 7. So it looks like we actually do have Field of the Dead online. So we're going to start making 2/2s every time the lands hero ends up making a land drop. It's going to be very difficult for the control player. I mean, that's like the theme of this match, right? Is we're just making tokens that end up being a problem.
Liberty, are you planning on playing Modern? If the answer is yes, the answer to your question is yes.
I generally would recommend buying cards for the decks that you want to play, and you know what, if you want to get if you're just trying to pick up all the shocks so that you can play whatever you want, that's totally fine too.
So I wouldn't buy a set of all the shocks because
No,
very
but, like,
few
2 or
decks,
3.
right? Very few decks will play all 4 copies of a color of shock. But getting 2 copies of every shock
you should have exactly what you need for basically any deck that you play.
I mean, stuff like blue
As
white
far as the
control.
shock lands go,
Stuff like blue white control, you'll typically play like 3 of your shock lands
sure.
because you just want to have a bunch of lands in play. But that's why I would recommend just buy cards for the deck that you want to play rather than just generally getting
Getting
stuff.
an umbrella of
Yeah.
cards.
What do we have going on here? It looks like
Elvish.
was there a 4th Earlingus for 1 at some point? To you want to pull up 4th Earlingus?
Is that what that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is
Okay.
What's the name of the card?
4th. FORTH.
Oh.
And it should be the first.
Dress down
Fourth
being
space.
played,
AE,
drawing a
or E.
card,
It's either A or E.
blocking the
4th
Reclaimer.
Earlingus,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's the one. Yeah, that card is crazy good. So 4th Earlingus makes it's basically just a fireball that does 2 damage for every X that you put into it, and also makes you the monarch. It's insane. It's insane. So you can play it like on turn 3, and just take the monarch. Here's my 2/2. I'm just going to draw a card every turn, an extra card every turn. Or it can be turn 100, and you go, I've got like 17 lands in play.
right.
Here's like 30 damage.
That they have trample too. Is just
Yeah, they have
really
trample. Why
interesting.
wouldn't they have trample? It's a Lord of the Rings card.
Sure. Oop. That
Looks-
looked like a
looks like a concession from the
lands.
control player.
Or sorry, not lands. Yeah, the control player.
So that's gonna be 1 win for Team Q, 1 win for Team. Oh, was that 2 wins for Team Q? Was that it? Who got it on the standard side? Okay, over here is Team.
They're putting cards away.
There looks like they're putting cards away. It looks like we have a winner.
All right, let's figure out who that was. Oh, everyone's gonna figure out for us really quick.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so the scam player won, and then people packed up. So I'm assuming that means that Team Q is going to be our winners here. We'll go ahead and find that out for you, and we'll report back. What is it, like Turbo Depths? No, it's just this deck is actually Legacy Lands. Turbo Depths is a little bit different. That's a black-green deck that's focused on getting Merit Legion to play on like turn 2. Instead, this one plays a much more slow, methodical game plan. Yeah, exactly. It's a much more normal lands deck. So the idea is that you'll just grind them out.
All right, guys. Well, why don't we get an interview with the team's representative?
So Team Q wins because standard 1-2-1
Mhm.
and legacy 1-2-0.
I see.
I'm getting Team Q for a winner's interview. Would you like to be a part of that?
I'll go ahead and step out. They can do their thing, and we'll give some big congratulations to the winners.
So
Yeah.
once they're done picking up their stuff, we're gonna get them in here for a winner interview.
All right, guys, give us like 2 minutes, and I'll get you guys those. I'll get you guys a winner's interview. Be right back.